Hello, welcome to another edition of Out and About in Richfield. Today Steve and I are standing in our fire department training room in the Municipal Center, and we're with Assistant Fire Chief Mike Dobish and firefighter Mark Watzak. And we wanted to talk with these two gentlemen today about training in the fire department. There is so much training that goes on, and it's just interesting to find out more details about that, share that with you. Specifically, the department recently sponsored or kind of conducted Blue Card Incident Command training here. Yeah. And so why don't you start us off, Mike, and just kind of describe what that specific training was all about.
Well, the Blue Card training program is really about taking the firefighters through learning how to run an incident. And our job is really to be good at response. And in order to do that, we have to do all kinds of things, but we also need an incident commander that can look at the building and say, these are the things we need to do, and this is why we need to do them, and this is how we're going to get it done, and assign the resources to get those things done and take care of the problem. And that's really what the Blue Card Incident Command Training Program is all about. It's about giving an incident commander, whoever that is, the tools to really be successful on the fire ground.
No, Mike, we held it here, but there were other departments involved in our training as well?
Yeah, we had about 5 other departments that participated in the 9 days that we were doing training here. This is really kind of an initiative that the Hennepin County Chiefs has really kind of pushed forward in the region. And actually, quite honestly, Minnesota's kind of leading the way. Right now in the Great Lakes region, us and Indiana, we're actually really pushing the program out. And it's really become a worldwide program at this point. So, but we're really on the front edge of that. Oh. So it's good learning.
So why don't you, well, first of all, can you just tell the viewers why you are wearing your Hawaiian shirt? Because apparently there's a tie-in with the Blue Card.
I was hoping that was not the new officer uniform.
No, it's not. We actually, this is Alan Brunacini, who used to be the fire chief of the Phoenix Fire Department. He wore Hawaiian shirts on virtually every public appearance that he did. And he still wears his Hawaiian shirts today. And this is kind of an homage to him as kind of the grandfather of the Incident Command training program that we're currently doing.
Because I noticed both you and Chief Kiewicz were wearing your shirts during the training.
Yep, on the last day we celebrate the Brunacinis and the program that they've put together. So.
Okay, yeah. Well, very nice.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, so maybe Mark, you can kind of talk us through what the training specifically detailed. I mean, what you were doing specifically as part of this training.
Sure. You know, we started out with doing 50 hours of online training initially, so what it did was it just kind of ramped us up and got us all on the same page. So after 50 hours of training, which, you know, some actually probably took a little more than that, we then actually took and spent 24 hours in what we call the sim lab, or the simulator lab, working as a team and taking all this information that we learned and just kind of putting it together. And really what it creates, you know, the whole process is about creating just common terminology to be used on the fire ground. So we start out, we paint this picture, and it's a common picture. We all have learned this terminology. And so when we come onto a scene, we're able to, you know, give a description, a complete size up of the situation, maybe what resources we need, and then go from there. So all the incoming units now, when they come in, they have an idea of what we're going to be working with and what mode we're going to be working in. So when we got to the simulator lab, we all had, you know, personal computers that we sat in front of. We had somebody who played the role of dispatcher, and in fact, we had, you know, 8-10 people that played multiple roles, or, you know, multiple engine companies, and so we all interacted with one another. And you'd start out with the first arriving on-scene commander. He would give his size up, and then we would start to kind of peel away the layers from there. And so all the incoming units interacted. We're all in different rooms. We interacted with one another just on a kind of a virtual basis. So it was a neat, kind of a priceless opportunity to be able to do this program.
You know, one thing I think that folks in the community probably don't understand is that when Richfield Fire responds to an incident, it's likely that there are going to be other departments responding at the same time, depending upon what kind of fire event it is. Or you might be responding to something in Edina or South Minneapolis, isn't that right?
Absolutely.
So why don't you talk about a little about that? How, you know, if we've got a big event going on, a fire event here in Richfield, we'll probably get units from what, Edina showing up, South Minneapolis, maybe even the airport.
Yeah, Edina, airport, Bloomington. Minneapolis, we'll get units basically closest to wherever the incident is, and we do that because our staffing model is such that we can get the first few people going, but we really need the other resources there to really kind of layer in more resources and really protect the people that are inside at the time, or start to do some of the other assignments that we see, as Mark explained, the kind of peeling back the layers, the next step, somebody to take the next step and really kind of walk it through. So we rely on our partners, and they rely on us. So it actually works out very well.
So Mark, from a firefighter perspective, let's say you're the first truck that arrives at a fire. So what happens at that point in time? Who assesses things at that point, or who takes command?
Well, it'll be the officer, and you know that he'll actually, whether it's you know, one of our lieutenants or one of our captains, or you know, we have an acting officers list as well. So any one of those three individuals could actually end up taking the initial command, and you know, and then they'll again, all this knowledge that's been learned or gained from this program actually kind of creates this common setup, this common scene. So then when the incoming chief officers come in, they already have this mental picture, and then it gets transferred off generally to them, or they come in and they'll assist one of those officers as well. So.
I thought it was, well, Steve and I got to watch you going through some of the training. I thought it was so fascinating to like look at what you were seeing on the computer screen. It was like, yeah, you were driving up, there was a commercial building, there was smoke coming out, and you had some people were sitting in one of our trucks or in our rescue, and so it was, you know, sort of, you know, real, virtually real, but it was interesting to just listen to. I mean, it felt like you were responding to a real event, and it's nice to, we incorporated, didn't we have the incident command vehicle?
We had a command vehicle here. We used the squads. We tried to make it as real as we could. The thing that we probably don't do very well at is, you know, we don't have crews that are actually pulling lines and starting fans and things like that, because it would just take too much time.
Sure.
As it is, we run about 100 simulations over the course of those 3 days. So the people that are in the class are getting a lot of hands-on time running the incident, and the time compression is really whittled down. So instead of a 4-hour incident, we're doing it in about 15, 20 minutes. So.
Oh, wow.
And I imagine it's the initial decisions that people are making when they arrive on the scene.
Absolutely.
That's going to really foretell how successful you are in dealing with that event, right?
Yeah, we have a saying in the fire service: what you do in the first 5 minutes determines what you will be doing for the next 5 hours.
Good beginnings or good endings.
Yeah.
Well, this training is just, you know, it's just one piece of the puzzle. Like I said, I mean, there's many different types of training that you go through throughout the year and throughout your career, really. But it's just so, it's just wonderful that we can base it out of here, too.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's kind of the future of a lot of training as well, is that we'll try to do as much on site as we can.
Yeah, I mean, we'll be doing it on site, but, you know, like we've already talked about, we've got our mutual aid partners, our auto aid partners. We try and do training with them as well. Sometimes that's here, sometimes that may be someplace else. But the goal is to really, whoever's going to be working together shoulder to shoulder, make sure that everybody's seen each other before, so it's not the first time they're seeing them in an active incident. So it just makes for a better all-around incident when everybody trusts and understands what the next people are going to be doing.
Yeah.
Let me go step back a second. What's the history of the blue card? First of all, what does blue card mean?
Well, Alan Brunacini, his son John was a captain in the Phoenix Fire Department, and when John retired from the Phoenix Fire Department, they had all this training stuff, and John was able to bring that with him out of his retirement from the Phoenix Fire Department and basically take it to the national level. And the blue card came out of the wildland firefighters use a red card, and that's how they carry their certification.
Oh, okay.
So now in the incident command world, they've introduced the blue card.
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
It just seemed to be the next progression, I guess.
So we talked about the blue card training. What other kind of ongoing training? I know that right now, especially the last couple of years, our fire department has really focused on training, education, really pushing that and kind of taking firefighting, if you want to call it, the whole firefighting discipline to another level. What else are we involved in?
Well, I mean, like Mark said, this is really training. The blue card stuff is really just the first arriving incident commander starting to look at the picture and size it up. We still have people that have to do the work, pull the lines, start the fans, cut the holes, do the actual work. I mean, it is work to be an incident commander, but it's also, you have the other part, the hands-on part of the job that still has to get done. So our focus for training will be around getting all those pieces and parts integrated, fully capable and ready to go, making sure that the driver can get water out of the pump, and the guy that's pulling the hose can do that, and the firefighter that's starting the fans has full knowledge of that. And so really, I mean, and we do a lot more than just fire. There's also the 24 hours a year that we do an EMT refresher. There's a ton of stuff that we continue to do and just refine our skills and hopefully become better so that we can serve the citizens better. So.
Don't want to put you on the spot, but I know that people think of firefighters and fighting fires, but you're doing a ton of medical runs, right?
Oh, yes.
How many just guessing, how many medical runs do you think you do in a year?
You want to answer that? Or?
Boy, I think it's in the 80% range.
Yeah, we're about 78%, so I think it's like 3,200 medical calls a year.
Wow.
Yeah, the majority of what we do is medical.
Yeah.
So when a medical emergency happens in Richfield, likely you folks are going to be the first people on the site before HCMC, Hennepin County Medical
Correct.
Center ambulance would arrive on the site, and you would stabilize the people or whatever and get those first important minutes.
Yeah, we have a great team of EMT, and we've got a couple paramedics here as well. I mean, they operate as EMTs, but great team of EMTs or first responders, and we actually do very well with what we do. And Hennepin County actually is rated in top of the nation as far as CPR saves as well. So we take great pride in that. We conduct a thing every Monday called CPR Monday. So we come in as a group, as a shift, and we get together and we pull out the mannequins, the AEDs, and we actually do the whole gamut of CPR ourselves. And so we've become very mechanized with this whole process. But it's a good thing because a lot of what we do in that process it just happens. It just happens. So and that process too, it's important to get it right and get it right the first time.
And Mark, isn't it? It's the first couple minutes that really make the huge difference of
they're very important.
How the medical event's going to turn out, if it's a cardiac arrest or whatever it might be, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they're important.
For every minute that a person is down, their survival rate declines. So if we don't make that intervention very early on, the outcomes usually aren't as good.
Well, that's just an example of one of the main training pieces that we're using here at the City of Richfield in our fire department. And it's important for folks to know that this is a highly trained, highly professional department, and the kinds of events that these folks respond to, again, it may be that someone's down in their kitchen, they just dial 911 to a fire happening in one of our big commercial buildings. So there's a huge, wide range of responses that these folks have to know. And I hope people feel good about the fact that they know that Richfield Fire is on top of the training to make sure that our firefighters and our incident commanders really know what they're doing when they arrive at the scene of whatever a person's emergency might be. So, thanks for taking the time with us at the Richfield Fire Department, and until we see you next time on Out and About, take care.